is a drink and love's a drug. Oh, now I think I must be my user. When I was a river dried up, it came to rain and flood. I'm feeling drunk and high, so high, so high. I'm feeling drunk and high, so high, so orange scent from up above. I feel it coursing through my blood. Life is a drink, your love's about to make the stars come out.
Drink from me, drink from me. Pour on a symphony.
When I'm low, 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 I'm feeling drunk and high, so high, so high. I'm feeling drunk and high.
All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our free webinar today, How to Attract Leads with YouTube. I'm so excited to get started on this webinar. And so thank you guys for taking the time to either be on the live or listen to this after the recording. I'm just super excited and just, again, super thankful for you guys for taking your time here. All right, so let's get right into this. All right, so a little introduction about myself. My name is David Torres. I work with Live on Real Media. We're a real estate marketing company based out of Michigan. I personally live in Ohio, and I'm married, and I have a 5-year-old. And I've been training. I've trained with some of the top realtors in the U.S. Like learning about the market, learning about just the way that they communicate, the way that they handle certain things, what it's like to be a realtor. I myself am not a realtor, but I've worked with realtors on a daily basis. And so I've been able to work with top producers. I've been able to work with top teams, and that's a little bit about my background there. I've also been in real estate, again, not myself, but working with realtors for the last 5 years. And I've been in marketing for the last 10 years. I have a church background where I did website, social media, I did marketing, I shot the videos, I edited the videos, I did all of that for the church to help the church grow. And so a little bit about Live on Real Media. So Live on Real Media is a real estate marketing company. That's all we're focused on. And so our job is we help realtors in different capacities. So we're able to help them with listing videos, photography, drone, 3D here in the Cleveland area. But around the U.S., we're helping realtors with their social media platforms, YouTube specifically. And we work with teams, helping them grow, helping them bring in new realtors. Just again, there's just different levels of things that we do, and we've been able to do that because we're owned by two of the top realtors in 2 different states. We're owned, one of the owners is one of the top realtors in Michigan, and as well as in the Cleveland, the Ohio state. And so we have these just vast amounts of information, of just know-how, right? Strategies and things that these top realtors have put into their teams. We've been able to just pick their brains and work with them and learn from them. So, and then also one of the marketing directors, if you will, of one of the top teams here in the Cleveland area. He's also one of the owners, and so he's as Jeff Glover likes to say, feet on the ground, right? Boots on the ground, and he's doing this with some of the top teams here in the Cleveland area at a high level. So let's jump into what this webinar is going to hopefully drive home for you. In this webinar, you're going to learn how to attract leads with YouTube. Ultimately, right? That's why everyone's here. And we're going to walk through strategy. We're going to walk through conversion. We're going to walk through just mindset, things to avoid, and how to actually get started today. Right after this webinar, how to immediately start the process, right? And so the reason why we push it so much is because it's a search engine. With YouTube specifically, it's the second largest search engine, owned by the number one, Google. And with this, we're able to use it in a way where you have you can just think of how, when people go on YouTube or Google, really, how to fix my furnace, how to do this, how to do that, what does this cost, what, right? And so that's how the way that Google's used, but it's also the way that YouTube's used. And so with that being said, we can help create, or you as realtors can create content that is going to help that person, whoever's looking for specifics on how, what's the cost of living in this area, or what's it like living here, right? So we're going to get that rolling, right? Get that mindset going, because this is the type of content, this is the type of just like the strategy of like what you need to be thinking of on how the content's going to be consumed, how it's going to be searched, how it's going to be found, right? And another thing too is content is evergreen on YouTube. If you post something on Facebook or Instagram, usually after a couple days it's kind of irrelevant, right? And then finding it is the hard thing to go, oh my gosh, hey, you want to show someone, hey, I did this video, let me just find it. And you're like scrolling through your feed, trying to find when and where this video is, right? On YouTube, it's all in playlist, it's all searchable, so you can say, hey, I shot this one video in this area, let me show you this real quick. Boom, search it up or pull it up, and here you go, right? It's very easy. Also, on the flip side of it, the content lives forever. As an example, I had a client who did a video last winter for living in the Michigan area and what's that like living on the lake and things of that nature. During that winter season, it got views, people were reaching out, people were commenting. After that, it died down, right? We got into spring, we got into summer. Well, this past, winter that we just got out of, that video picked right back up, right? Because it had relevancy again. And there's videos of like that where they're seasonally evergreen, but there's also videos that have just evergreen throughout its whole life, right? Let's say like what's it cost to live in such and such area or something like that, of that nature, right? So there's evergreen content where you're not following a trend, you're not trying to do something viral, so to speak. It's value-driven content that can be used today, could be used 3 months from now, could be used a year from now. Obviously, things change, like minor changes as years go by, but for the most part, it's evergreen. And the other thing is it's bingeable, right? A lot of people, at least from our clients, the realtors that we work with, a lot of them say, hey, so and so reached out and they're like, they know me. They asked about my dog. They asked about they asked about my family member, something that they've said in their video. They asked about what I thought about such and such, right? So they come informed, they come pre-sold because they feel like they know you, they trust you a little bit more than just finding you for the first time. and they're ready to buy, right? They know, they've done their research, they've watched your videos, they have seen what you have been putting out. They probably have watched, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos or more. I've had some clients that are like, hey, this person said they watched all of my videos, and that's super awesome, right? And so they come knowing and they come ready, right? They're not here to waste time. They're, for the most part, a warmer lead. The hard part here is what a lot of realtors get hung up on is the following. It's the limiting beliefs, right? So you understand all this about YouTube and you're like, yeah, I want to do this. But then you get to the point where it's, well, my area is too big, my area is too small. We talked, I myself talked to an agent who lived in a very small town, and their mindset was, well, it's too small and no one's doing this. And then that limiting belief of like, well, we shouldn't even do it now, right? It's the opposite. No one's doing it. Go ahead, man. Take some market share. Do it, right? Is it too big or too small? No, people need to buy homes. I mean, the reason why people are there, even though it's a small town, is because they had to buy a house, and vice versa. Some people have left, right? And so, and even when it's big, if it's a big area, we work with agents in the Atlanta area, in the Detroit area, right? So they're pretty big areas. There's enough pie to go around for everyone. And so don't feel like that should be the thing that holds you back. Then the other thing is, I'm not good on camera. Well, there's a little bit of truth to that. Yes, some people aren't. They're nervous. I get nervous. I talk fast, as you can tell. And so, but you get better at it. That's number one. Number two, you're providing so much value. If you have that focus of, I'm just want to provide the value, that almost negates that. And you get better over time. So it's like, as long as you focus on providing value, you're going to get better, right? And also, kind of to give you props, as realtors, if you weren't good as far as like communication or presentation, you probably wouldn't be a realtor this long, right? So it's just a little hurdle to get over, and there's lots of the different little tactics that you can use to get more comfortable. The next one is that it's too late to start. Well, that's just a lie. There's no better time to start than right now, right? There's so much potential that you can achieve if you would just start now, producing videos, posting, just hitting post, upload and post to YouTube, to Facebook, to Instagram, to start getting your name out there. You have to understand that there are people out there that, yes, they have thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. They've been killing the YouTube scene with their real estate business, but they are not everyone's cup of tea. Okay? There are people that just they might not care for them, and they might mesh well with your personality, but you won't know that until you start posting. And then the last thing, the one that I hear a lot, is it's too expensive. And I think if we go off of what we see on YouTube or Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, yes, it is. It is very expensive, right? But it's not the case. This has been done. We're doing this with our clients at very low barrier entry to start producing very well produced videos that look great, sound great, and it's very inexpensive. And we're gonna go into what the simple setup is. All you need is a phone, a microphone, and some natural light. Yes, you can use a light that you can mount to on a tripod or on your desk. I myself have a desk clamped, or a light clamped to my desk. It is a sit-to-stand desk, so that's why I have it clamped there. But you don't have to. You can use big windows. You can be outside, right? Everyone's phone, I would think around in 2025 is a pretty decent phone, maybe an iPhone 13, 14, 15, or 16. For those that have Androids, maybe consider upgrading. But you also have like the the S20 Ultra, I think, or 20 whatever number we're at now. But those are fantastic phones with great cameras paired with decently good light. You have everything you need. For the most part, the onboard microphone for the phones do sound pretty good, but as you'll see later into the strategy of the content that actually works, you're going to be out and about for some of this, and you'll have a lot of external sounds, traffic, people, wind. So you're going to want a lapel or some type of external microphone. And all of the equipment that we use with our clients and have used ourselves is in the description below. All of the links are there, so if you wanted to kind of look through what those are, you can just click the link below and click on those links. Everything's on Amazon, so it'll be here in a day or two. The next thing is editing. Yes, you can spend $200 for Final Cut Pro on the Mac, or a subscription to the Adobe Suite to have Premiere, right? But you can use CapCut. It's not free anymore. It used to be. There's still some free things that you can use, but I think it's like $80 a year. You unlock everything on CapCut, which is fantastic. It's on the iPad, it's on the desktop, on your Mac or PC, and it's on your phone. You can use iMovie. Very basic, very simple. CapCut would be like your top one, or maybe even Captions is another app as well. But iMovie will work for just simple editing. And this is when you first get started, right? If you feel like you have the time. If you don't, and this is where most agents get trapped, is they don't outsource, they don't leverage, right? You should outsource your editing as soon as you possibly can, right? If you can swing it right from the get-go, do it. It frees you up significantly to work on the other things that need to happen. And then you don't need a studio. You don't need a studio. I have clients that use their living room, an office where they work, or a spare bedroom, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Maybe something on the wall, a shelf, or some pictures, or something that shows who you are. So myself, I got a few different things here on this pegboard. Things that my son gave me, some things that I'm into, my headphones, my Kindle, and so something that just expresses who you are, and that's as simple as it needs to be, right? And so then we'll move into the next part, which is the actual strategy. And let me know if I'm moving a little too fast. I will definitely slow down. But there is a lot to get through. So we go into the strategy. The strategy is actually quite simple. You need one video per week, 8 minutes or more. 8 to 15 maybe. You can work your way up. It doesn't have to be from the get-go, I need to talk for 8 minutes, right? And we'll go over like what the scripting and all that stuff will look like as well. But if you break it down to 20 minutes a day of planning, and so the main thing is looking at your calendar and planning and going, okay, so I'm going to be in such and such town. That would be a great video to do on, maybe the neighborhoods or something like that. And I'll give you some prompts as well here shortly. But planning out, our minds are not made to remember, they're made to create. And so writing it down so that whether it's a notepad, Apple Notes, or whatever you use to take notes, write it down. And if you do that on a daily basis for 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be exactly 20 minutes, but just do that on a consistent basis. By the end of the week, you should have, let's just say, 5 ideas at minimum that you wrote down that you're like, okay, cool, my next week, this is what it's going to look like, right? Or later in the week, I have already 3 ideas. I'm going to be shooting these as I go to these locations. Then I recommend one scripting day. One day that you spend, I don't know, an hour, 30 minutes, whatever you can time block. The maximum amount of time that you can time block in that day is going to be done just for scripting. And it's going to be like the research phase, the scripting phase. And you're taking already the bullet points or the topic ideas that you already wrote down throughout the week. So you're not sitting there thinking of ideas. You already have those. Now it's just a matter of finding that information using like niche.com, living in whatever city you're in.com or .org. And I can, if you want those websites, just comment below and I'll make sure to send that over to you. And so essentially it's like, 5 or 7 websites that have all the information you need, from cost of living to the average price per home, through the best neighborhoods to live according to locals, the best neighborhoods, the best areas, the best thing, the things to do in the area, what the average household income should be in this area, right? So there's a lot of information that you can pull. And so that's where the scripting phase comes. If you get one script done, and that's all you had time for that week, great. Your next day or a couple days after, it should be a separate day. Scripting does take a lot out of you. If those that have done it can attest to, yes, it just drains me after I'm done with scripting. Some people are fine, but most people are drained after that. So a separate day to record, right? And so now you have that script already done. Or maybe you scripted 2 or 3 videos. Well, maybe I'll only record 1 video that week. That's okay. Ultimately, we would like to batch content. But let's just say, hey, I got 1 video done. I recorded 1. I'm good for the week. I'll restart the process again next week. Now, next week, you already have a couple scripts that you've already written. Plus, you're going through each day, writing out the details and the ideas of what content you would like to create. So that when your following scripting day comes, again, you're ahead of the curve. And it's just a compounding type of effect. Maybe a week or 2 in, you have 8 scripts ready to go and you batch record the whole month, and then you're done, right? And then you can focus on the other things that you need to be doing. So that's essentially just like the strategy, and like a weekly strategy, if you will, right? And then once you get that process down, you have to understand that you have to create an avatar, right? A lot of agents will create content for the sake of creating content. Sometimes it's to buyers, sometimes it's to sellers, sometimes it's to relocation buyers, sometimes it's to downsizers. So there's a lot that's happening. Just kind of figuring out, I want to talk about this today or talk about that today. And what you have to understand is that YouTube, the way the algorithm works is YouTube puts content in front of people based on their search activity, right? So if you search, let's say, golf videos, YouTube's going to put more golf videos in front of you, right? For the most part, your average person has multiple interests. Like myself, I watch some golf videos, I watch some other sports videos, I watch some financial stuff. And so my feed, if you will, as I'm browsing YouTube, has all of those things in front of me. Where the issue occurs is if you are the content creator and you do videos on cooking, you do a video on real estate, you do a video on playing golf, the algorithm, it's hard for the algorithm to figure out who is it that you're trying to target, right? And so it's like, based on search history, I gotta find people that are into cooking, golf, and real estate, right? And so that pool shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Thus why you're getting very little views. If you create your avatar based on family status, are they married? Are they single and relocating for work? What are they, what's their family status like, right? What's their lifestyle? Are they looking for quiet lifestyle? Are they looking for walkability? Are they looking for the busy lifestyle, right? Whatever it is that their lifestyle is, and then their needs, right? What's their price of their home? What's the home style? They have to commute. How far do they have to commute for work, right? And then the pain points, right? Is it weather? Safety concerns, affordability. What are those? What is your avatar? What are they? needing, who are they, and then what type of content would they be looking for, right? If you do comment below with your email, I can send you a free client avatar worksheet. It's essentially just like a plug and play. It has the prompts for you, and then you just fill it in so that you can visually see what your like who your avatar is, right? Um, so yeah, just comment below with your email, and I'll send that over. So after you get your avatar, after you know exactly who it is that you want to talk to, exactly who it is that I'm trying to reach, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a relocation, whether it's a downside, whatever that case is, one thing that you can do is start to look at how would they phrase specific questions when they're looking for something, right? For instance, let's see. Let's say downs. Let's just say a relocation. I'm looking to move. So myself, I moved from Florida, Naples, Florida, all the way up to Cleveland, Ohio. Um, and one thing I searched was like, what's the weather like in this area, as far as like for the winters, right? What's it like living in the Cleveland area during the winters? And that was like one of the searches. When we found out, hey, there's this house that we really liked. What's the neighborhood like? What's it like living in such and such neighborhood, right? Same thing with my sister. My sister also moved up, and so for her, it was searching for specific. What's the what is there to do? She had at that point she had a 3-year-old. What is there to do in the area that she was moving into for families, right? What's the cost of living in this area, right? And so thinking of how they would phrase these questions is how we're going to create that content, thus getting into here's some of the topics that that we know work. We've done this with agents all across the US. Some of these work better in some areas, so that's why there's a few multiple prompts here, but you really want to focus on 3 or 4 of these really, and just rotate them for a while, and maybe insert one, take one out every once in a while. But for the most part, pros and cons of living in your city is a big video that people are searching for. They might not write pros and cons, but like, what are the pros of living in such and such, right? And so thinking of that is like the main topic of the video. What are the pros and cons of living in your city? What's the cost of living in your specific city? And you can do this for multiple areas. So like for us, we have Westlake, Ohio, we have Bay Village, we have Avon Lake, we have Sheffield, right? And so I can do pros and cons or cost of living for all of these areas, as long as there is a a good or a big enough difference, right? If it's like, look, the same cost of living for these 3 areas, then you might not want to make one for each of those. But as long as they're a little bit different, or or any type of significant difference, do a cost of living in those areas, right? Top 5 neighborhoods in your city. It doesn't have to be 5. It can be 3 or number 1, right? Ken Pozek. Those that know Ken Pozek. Ken Pozek did one a few years back now. Top 3 neighborhoods, 3 gated communities. Sorry, in the Orlando area, right? So he showcased 3 different neighborhoods, and one of those neighborhoods happened to be where his listing was, and so he was able to show it there. And we'll get into why is that such a big like aha thing here shortly. So top 5 neighborhoods or best neighborhoods to live in, or gated communities to live in, right? Vlogs, right? Day in the life of, so to speak, but more about the community, more about the area. Hey, we're gonna take a quick tour today about taking a tour of such and such city. I got a lot of appointments. I got some fun things that I'm doing. I'm meeting with some clients, but I wanted to show you what it's like on just an average day in living here, right? The traffic, the sightseeing, all the fun restaurants, not so much going into them and going, hey, we're going to do a highlight of this restaurant, but more so just like, this is what's available here, the parks, the attractions, whatever the case is, right? What it's like living in such and such area, right? That would be another one. Or moving to, right? Things you need to know before you move to here. So if you're moving from down south, if that's where you're targeting, before you move up north or vice versa. These are some things that you need to know, right? Same thing with like this one you have to play around with, but don't move here until you watch this video. These negative titles do work, but you just have to be careful. You never want to bad talk the area that you're living in, right? So don't move here because it sucks, right? No, it's don't move here until such and such. I had a client in Florida who did one where it was like, don't move to Florida if you don't want to enjoy some nice beaches, right? And he talked about the different beaches that Florida had to offer in his area. Don't move here if you don't enjoy, you know, uh, being able to, go out to the parks or enjoy a nice breeze with some awesome weather, right? So that you can do it negative, but spin it to a positive note, right? If you do go negative, I had a client who did this as well, that the video performed really well, was if you hate traffic, don't move here. But if you just leave 5-10 minutes early, you'll avoid all of it, and it'll be fine. It's like it's never there. The weather, it's hot, it's very humid, but we have pools. We have indoor, outdoor pools. We have awesome beaches, and we have AC units. It's like kind of like a fun little thing that he wanted to do. And so those negative ones work, but you can spin them to a positive note. But these are the main topics. Yes, there's other ones, maybe like best places to retire, or why my city is the best place to retire or a great place to retire. You can do, why does this area have veterans, right? Why do veterans decide to move here? So there's a lot of different value driven topics that you can do. These seem to be the easiest and the most common ones to do. And again, it's just easy to recycle, right? Back to your schedule, right? So if we go back to this, once you know these topics, then you can plan out your week to go, well, I'm going to be in such and such town next week. I actually have a listing in such and such town. Let me write this down. Maybe I'll do the top neighborhoods and I'll showcase my listing, right? And you plan it out. You script it out later in the week. And then when you get there, boom, you can shoot your video, right? Or parts of the video. You don't have to always do things on location. It could be done in an office or at home, and do a hybrid type of system, right? And then again, same thing with your listings, right? So I mentioned that when you do these videos, these are awesome types of just topics that you can insert your listing video into. I think the issue with a lot of agents is they just go, hey, I'm going to do a listing video and that's going to be my content, right, for the day or for the week or whatever the case is. On YouTube, there's zero searchability for 123 Main Street unless people know the address, they know it's for sale, right, or you send it to them. But searchability behind it, it's non-existent, right? But what you could do is maybe top neighborhood in such and such area and showcase your listing within that. Hey, let's take a look at what a typical home looks like in this neighborhood. Here I am at 123 Main Street. Here we go, blah, blah, blah. If you like this house, be sure to reach out, or whatever your conversion method is. But now you've just given it a way bigger search factor, right? Because it could be, you can put the name of the neighborhood, why moving to neighborhood is awesome, or the best neighborhood in this area, pros and cons of living in this city, boom, listing video within the video, right? So there's a better searchability factor that help push people to watch it. It's easier for them to find it. They'll watch it and then they'll see that listing. Thus, that could be a part of your marketing strategy there, that when you talk to your, a potential seller, hey, I'm going to be doing this video about the community or the area, and then I'm going to showcase your home in it. Here's what I did for such and such down the street, or in another neighborhood. So your marketing package, your value proposition went from a generic listing video with photos, maybe some drone, to now a full-fledged marketing piece that not only is going to wow your seller, but it's also going to bring buyers in, and you're going to be able to use this as a portfolio or some type of listing presentation for future listings, right? It's like it's you're trying to pack in as much as you can into your schedule, or like the event that you're going to. So like you're already going to this house, you're gonna already shoot a video and do photos. You might as well just spend a little bit extra time, expand on that video, and add your listing to it, right? The big don'ts of content, this is what I was saying with a lot of the things that agents do, is they do business interviews. Hey, we're going to interview a local business in the area. The trap of this is they're so easy to make. All you got to do is just ask the person questions, and they'll answer them, and you're highlighting a business in the area that people know, and they're easy to make. And then you'll do that again, and you'll do it again, and you'll do it again, because the content's easy. And then now you went from a real estate agent to a tour guide, right? And you'll come to find that it doesn't convert, it doesn't help, it doesn't do anything for your business, really, right? The next thing is just generic listings. So generic listings, again, we already talked about it, right? The generic listings, it's just super. There's no searchability. Super easy. Everyone's already doing it. Everyone, all buyers, all sellers know that they're gonna get a easy, simple marketing piece, right? It's just now the norm, right? The base for what realtors should do. And so just doing those with maybe a voiceover or a talking head or something like that. Yes, it's content, but it doesn't convert, right? General education content, so like how to do A, B, and C, how to how to get more for your home, right? The issue with those are, well, number one, they either already have an agent, right? They have an agent, so someone's already doing it for them, right? Number two, they might not be looking for an agent, so now they're just doing it on themselves, and you just gave them, the tips for them to do it themselves. Usually for this content, it's harder to pinpoint and find your audience, and then the value that you're giving them. Well, that's the whole reason why they would hire you, right? So you teaching them how to negotiate a contract, well, that's what you're here for, right? I don't need to do that, so usually I'm not going to search for it, right? And then not having a niche. Not having a niche is, again, like we talked about in the very beginning, not having a niche is detrimental to this success of your YouTube channel. If you don't have a niche, you don't know who you're talking to, you don't know how to present, you don't know how to put your content together, you don't know what they're looking for, what their pain points are, and so you're just throwing stuff at the wall hoping something sticks, right? And we don't want that. We want a niche, right? We want to be able to create, again, these types of content. This is mainly set for buyers, relocation buyers and buyers in general. But again, you can use this to leverage for listings, to show them how you're going to be able to market this home. And as the channel grows, you'll be able to leverage that channel even more, right? So once you make your videos, you get them edited, you get them posted, you're doing your thing, you want to convert. This is the whole reason, the leads. We want the leads coming in. The reason why I put this here and not at the beginning is if your video's not done, there's no one's seeing it, the conversion side of it doesn't matter, right? And so the conversion here is the following. This is I think the easiest way to do this is provide value through your videos, right? So provide value to build trust, right? Just help agents help your potential buyers with everything that they would need. Put yourselves in their shoes and go, if I'm moving from a different state or a different city, I've never been here, what do I need to know? I have a family, I have 2 kids and a husband, or 2 kids and a wife, or whatever the case is. What do we need to know, right? And then that's how you're going to start to create that content. So providing value that way. And then your CTAs, right? Your call to actions. Make them clear and very easy to follow. Just simply putting your phone number in the description doesn't work, because sometimes they won't click it, right? um, it's just, I don't know, it's too much work, I guess. But sometimes you just won't click that button to scroll down to find your number, to click it or copy and paste it. Also, same thing with just putting it in your description of your channel. It's, yes, it's there. All they have to do is click a button and go down. But they might be watching it on the TV, or they might be on their phone. They might be. It needs to be easy. One way that we've seen that works best would be to create a QR code that you can put on your banner. Scan this QR code to book a call or to fill out a Google form, whatever you need to do to qualify, right? Your buyers. You can do it through a QR code in the description, in your banner. You can do it on screen. Hey, scan this QR code here that's going to show up right now to just book a free consultation, or to fill out a form so that we can reach out to you, right? Something very simple and easy to do. The QR code obviously works for those that are watching it on TV, which, believe it or not, is an increasing number. But if not, you can put the link as the first link on your description before you even have to hit scroll down. It's just right there, so they see that blue link. It says book a call or fill out form, whatever the case is, and the links, it's hyperlinked, it's blue, it's showing up right there. All they have to do is click it and they're good, right? And rinse and repeat. That's all. That's the main process. Making sure it's very clear. Making sure that you're building trust, you're providing value, making sure your call to actions are clear, and then converting, right? And there's also, you can use ManyChat, where it's an automated message, comment this word, and the bot will send a specific link or something like that, right? Or whatever it is that you want it to send. You could do it that way. We just seen on YouTube specifically, this is the simplest way to do it, right? And so the mindset, all right? So we talked about how we're going to do this starting today. Like how are you going to get or be able to do this starting right now? The mindset is going to be the following. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Posting something and having a baseline of where you're at. So right now, if you've never created a video, your mind is telling you, I'm not good at this. I get nervous on camera. I suck. Whatever the case is, my market's saturated, whatever it is. But it's just your mind is, that's what you're creating, right? You don't know that. There's no baseline. Now, if you create a video, you record it, and you post it. Now you know, this is how I sound on video. This is how I'm going to get better. I know I got to fix A, B, C, D, whatever the case is. I posted my video. It got, I got X amount of views, which I'm going to talk about that here in a second. It doesn't matter. Views are a vanity metric. Don't focus on that. Focus on watch time, retention, and click-through rate. So retention, watch time, click-through rate. Retention, how long are they watching your video, right? How long are they watching your video? Are they watching 8 minutes of your 15 minutes? Are they watching 3 seconds of your 5-10 minute video, right? What is that retention? Why are they dropping off? Where are they dropping off, right? And then just being very honest with yourself and saying, look, yes, when I watched this video back, majority of people dropped off at the 3 minute mark. I stumbled on my words, or I sounded weird. Whatever the case is, I know I need to fix that for the next video to make sure that doesn't happen. So the longer the retention, the higher the watch time, the more YouTube will push it out because it's a well-received video. That's the main thing. Views, sure, yeah, you can have thousands, hundreds of thousands, or a million views, but if your retention's like 1%, strive for like that 35-ish%, and then how can you make it better, right? And that'd be through editing or in your cadence, your tone, things like that. And then your click-through rate, as that's your title, right? Is it searchable? Is it easy to find? And then is it captivating enough for your thumbnail, right? So as people are scrolling through, those are impressions. YouTube's putting it in front of people. How many people are actually clicking it and going to watch your video, right? So those are the things you want to focus on there. Don't focus on the views, okay? The views will steal your joy and not not push you to continue to make content, right? And then stay in your niche. I got a little bit off topic there, but stay in your niche. Stick it through. People like whatever your content is. Let's say you pick the niche of working with new construction buyers. The video's been well received. Cool. Maybe one was a dud. The other one did well. Stick to that niche. Your niche is your niche. And just don't, you gotta like put the blinders on and say, I am sticking to whatever my niche is for X amount of time, and go from there, right? So, how to start today. Choose your niche, create your avatar, find out what that is, plan out your scripting and recording days, put them in your calendar, make sure that you are, that just as important is your lead gen in the mornings at 1 o'clock before I go into meetings or whatever the case is. I'm going to script write for 30 minutes or for an hour. Different day, same concept, or maybe it's the weekends, whatever works for your schedule. But make sure that you're putting it on there and you're sticking to it, right? Consistency is going to be your biggest friend when it comes to YouTube, right? We want to be on there consistently, right? So plan out those 2 days. Outsource your editing as soon as you can, whether that's through Fiverr, whether that's through us. That's something that we do. This whole YouTube platform is something that we manage. So we manage YouTube platforms for clients, and we're able to essentially hold your hand and walk you through. We walk alongside of you as we're creating this content to get you to a point where you're generating leads and your business is growing. But outsource the editing, right? Again, whether it's through Fiverr, whether it's through another realtor that maybe has that skill that isn't producing as much, and just want to be able to get them in, set them in the right path, or whatever the case is, a niece, nephew, hopefully someone that can help you edit. Again, like I said, we also do that as well. And get that off your plate and focus on the scripting and the recording. And then even then too, as time goes by, you can even leverage out the script writing or the research phase of it if you have an assistant or another agent, a spouse. I have clients that do that as well, right? Their spouse help them with the script writing, and then they just sit down to record, or they go out and record. Same thing with the recording too. You could hire a company, or you can do it yourself. I have agents that bought a gimbal, link in the description. They put their phone on it and they walk around with the phone gimbal recording themselves, right? And then remember to track retention, watch time, and click-through rate. Don't worry about the views. Those are the two things that you just can't worry about. Here we go. And then the most important thing, the biggest thing here is to post. Make sure you post, because if you don't post, you'll never know and you'll never get started, right? I encourage those that are wanting to start their YouTube journey, just get started, do something. Reach out to us if you want to schedule a free consultation. You can just comment below. I'll send you my calendar link. I'll have it posted here in a few seconds, where you'll be able to just book a free call, free consultation. We'll sit down for 15-30 minutes, and we'll point you in the right direction, right? Whether you work with us or not, we'll point you in the right direction. We'll talk about how we can get you started. We have several different products, programs that you can join. But either way, at the end of that call, again, whether you work with us or not, we'll point you in the right direction to get you started so you can do this on your own and start generating leads for your business through YouTube. So again, if there's any questions, you can feel free to drop them below. But if not, you're good. Let me know, keep me posted. We're here to help as much as we can. This is what we do, right? We're here for realtors for YouTube, and thank you guys again. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. For those that are watching it on the replay, thank you so much for taking the time. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us over an email or send us a DM on any of the platforms, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. So thank you guys. Have a great day.
Fly me to the moon and let me play amongst the stars.